Alright, we are back with another trade recap. Today was the 8th of October 2025. This was the trade that I took on the nasdaq. Alright, so as you know, I trade New York market. So originally coming into the session, my bias, the way I was thinking anyway, if we drop down the time frames here, at the time we open, London highs had been swept on ES, meaning at the time we technically had an SMT of ES right there, meaning there was really only one major target for the day, which at the time was London lows. Seemed like the clearest draw on liquidity. But as you can see, we end up going bullish on market open, which I find really surprising because, as you can see, this massive box I've marked out here was a 4-hour and a 1-hour fair value gap at the time from previous day, which surprised me because we did end up pushing through that, and that is what actually gave me my entry. So yeah, bullish fair value gap, or sorry, SMT, which was making me want this SMT here, which was making me think, okay, shorts are probably going to be the play here. Market opened and instantly ES started dumping, but NQ started pumping, which was really weird. But yeah, that's what happened anyway. The other thing I did realize is we did have a 4-hour SMT though. This was later on when I was closer to actually making my trade. Yeah, right here. SMT, these lows here had been swept on ES, hadn't been swept on NQ, so we had an SMT there, which I used to take this trade. At the time, I did notice we were fairly close to the 1-hour and the 4-hour getting inversed, which are these giant gaps here. So I was like, okay, if these get inversed, it's going to be a good trade, and I'm going to take it. I'm happy to take this target in all-time highs, which at the time was this wick here. I could pull that down for you, so yeah. At the time, that wick there was all-time highs. So I'm like, okay, inverse fair value gap, which had now been created. I entered 1-to-1 target in all-time highs. I probably wouldn't have held this trade if it had gone the wrong direction for all the way down to my stop loss, just because it is quite a big trade. But yeah. So yeah, all-time highs. So I enter on the trade. I entered off the 4-hour actually, not the 1-hour, even though it was basically the exact same entry. Yeah, 4 hours, just a bit cleaner. Drop back to 1 hour, so it's easier to see. The one main thing I did notice with this trade, and was the reason I didn't really want to, I was a bit cautious about taking it. Sorry, no, I didn't want to take it. I was just a bit cautious about it. Was this here, which is a 1-hour fair value gap, which hadn't even been tapped into at the time. So as you can see, price came up, and for like an hour and a half, I think it was, I was in this trade, and we were just kept rejecting off of this 1-hour fair value gap, which was the reason why I ended up getting break even on this trade, is because my original idea was, okay, as soon as we like tap the top of this fair value gap, I'm gonna go break even, which is what I did. It came up, tapped the top of the fair value gap, came up and kept pumping to about here, and then dropped and kept dropping and kept pushing, basically just kept messing around this fair value gap, which eventually then price came down, stopped me out at break even before then pumping up to all-time highs, meaning the trade technically did play out if I hadn't gone break even, or I actually don't even think it stopped me out by much. Yeah, like it literally like bottom ticked my break even. So if I'd put my stop loss maybe just a little bit lower, we would have still been in the trade and it would have played out for us quite nicely. However, that doesn't matter. The trade's over. Can only look towards the future, you know, like how do I take this into my next trade is what you realistically need to be thinking. But yeah, it was a nice trade, clean setup. Just a shame it took us so many tries to push through that 1-hour fair value gap. But anyway, it's all good. This was a 1-to-1 trade. I was pretty happy with the setup. SMT, clear draw on liquidity, which was all-time highs, and then a big fair value gap, or inverse fair value gap, being the 1-hour and the 4-hour. I believe there was also a 30-minute inverse fair value gap, which was here to here, which we did end up inversing on that candle. So what I was hoping was once we had inversed this 30-minute like we did here, we would just then pump from there. Instead we didn't, and we just, yeah, kind of just messed around for a bit before we eventually started pumping a bit nicer. But yeah, that was the trade for today. If you guys took a trade today, let me know in the comments down below what trade you took, if you made money, or if you maybe got break even like me, or if you took an L today, what it was. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, leave a like down below.